علي صوتك شوي.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خير. Those staying behind, inshallah, today we're going to start with the book itself, which is Humility and the Prayer by the Rajab Rahimahullah, Salah. And so let's go into it, inshallah. So the narrator, he says, with the name of Allah, the Merciful, the All-Merciful, the Most Merciful. It is His aid that we seek, and all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. He says, the Hafiz and Allama, Zainuddin, Ibn Shaykh Abu al-Abbas, Ahmed ibn Rajab, may Allah fill his life with blessings, said. So when he says, may Allah fill his life with blessings, that indicates that he's writing it during the life of Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah. This is a first person witness. So he said, this is a treatise we have written concerning humility, khushu', and the heart's meekness and breaking inkisar before the Lord. All praise is due to Allah, mender of hearts which have broken for His sake. And I really like the introduction that Ibn Rajab brought here because it's very suitable to the topic of the book. So you see how he mentioned an action of Allah that is connected to humility, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all praise is due to Allah, mender of hearts which have broken for His sake. And by His grace, He is the forgiver of the sins of the penitent, those who repent to Allah. I testify that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah alone. He has no partners and there is nothing like Him. I testify that Muhammad is His slave and messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He sent him with the guidance and the religion of truth, that it may reign supreme over all religions. And here he is referring to the ayah, وَالَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ. He is the one who sent his messenger, بِالْهُدَى, guidance, وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ, and the true religion, لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, so it may reign supreme over all other religions. Now there's two aspects to this. First, Islam always reigns supreme in terms of the evidences for it being true, the true religion. And in terms of the worldly fights and battles and so forth, الْحَرْبُ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ سِجَالٌ, like Abu Sufyan said before he became a companion. He said, when Heraclius asked him, he was like, how do you have battles? Who wins? He said, sometimes they win, sometimes we win. And that's the way it is until the day of judgment. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts the hands of the Muslims above everyone else at the end of time. And then, of course, the day of judgment, only the worst of people are present towards the day of judgment. So those are the two aspects of Islam being supreme, reigning supreme over all religions. In terms of the evidences, always reigns supreme. And in terms of the worldly fights and so forth, we win some, we lose. Allah gave Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the choice of being a prophet king or a messenger slave. And he chose the station of slavery to Allah coupled with messengership. And this hadith will come towards the end of the book, and we'll talk about it when the time of it comes. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say, "O Allah, make me live as one lowly and humble, miskeen. Make me die as one lowly and humble, miskeen. And resurrect me among the ranks of the lowly and humble, the masakin." And this is a very beautiful dua that perhaps we should make part of our dua as well. Thereby alluding to the nobility and excellence of this station, which is being miskeen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Peace and blessings be upon him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his companions, and those who hold tightly to his rope after him. That's the beautiful introduction that Ibn Rajab has for this book. Now, he's going to talk about the virtue and the importance of humility, khushu' to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's good to understand that khushu' is not limited to in the prayer. Yes, the greatest display of khushu' is in prayer, but khushu' is a lifestyle. It's a way I carry myself in everything that I do. So, Ibn Rajab now is going to mention to us the virtue of khushu' in 4 ayahs. So he says, in his book, Allah, glorious and most high, has commended, praised those who are meek, mukhbit before him, and those who have broken in the face of his grandeur, rendered submissive, khadi', and humble, khashi' in its presence, in the presence of Allah's grandeur. He, the Most High, says, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ وَيَدْعُونَنَا رَغَبًا وَرَهَبًا وَكَانُوا لَنَا خَاشِعِينَ. They outdid each other in good actions. Who is Allah talking about here? The prophets and messengers. They outdid each other in good actions, calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in yearning and awe, and humbling themselves to us. So what's the virtue here he's pointing to? The prophets and messengers had this quality of having khushu' to Allah. That in itself shows how valuable this is. So you are imitating and copying the prophets and messengers when you have khushu'. So that shows the importance and the value of khushu'. The second ayah he mentions, إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصابرين والصابرات والخاشعين والخاشعات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. This is the rule. So they're going to translate from the point of reference. From the middle of the ayah, men and women who are humble, men and women who give in charity, men and women who fast, men and women who guard their private parts, men and women who remember Allah much. Allah has prepared for them forgiveness and an immense reward. So that's the second virtue of khushu' that Ibn Rajab is teaching us here. If you are khashi'ah to Allah, that's a means to get Allah's forgiveness and great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third thing, he describes the believers as those who have khushu' in the best action of worship they perform and perform diligently. What is the best action that they perform? The best physical action. Salah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. It is the believers who are successful, those who are humble in their prayer. So when Allah couples khushu' to the best action, that shows how valuable it is. And when Allah describes the believer and He gives the first description to be that they are khashi'ah, that also shows how important khushu' is. He describes those who have been granted knowledge as people having khushu' when they hear His words rehearsed to them. So when they hear the words of Allah, they're humble. They're humbled by the words of Allah. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِ إِذَا